national holiday is called Thanksgiving. Look it up. Tomorrow is actually a really important day in America too, which for some people is like way more important. What basically goes on is every store, because it's the day after Thanksgiving, every single store will basically mark all of their items down. They'll take pretty much everything. They'll do 70% off. At the most, sometimes even 80% off. You know, it's insane. There's huge sales everywhere you go, and it's for holiday gifts. And so there's a lot of videos online of people kind of fighting over that kind of stuff. Like that one, and it's pretty chaotic. But considering that tomorrow's Black Friday and a lot of people are going to be getting a lot of new gear, and a lot of people are just going to go Black Friday shopping and they're going to see the gear and they're going to say, you know, I don't really know what to get. Like, I want to get this deal, but is this actually going to help me? Like, so I thought in this video I would talk about all the gear that I use to film my YouTube videos, just because I have so much free time today. Until tonight, we're going to my cousin's house, my other cousin's house actually, to go celebrate Thanksgiving, which you guys will see later. But for right now, I thought I would just talk to you guys about the gear I use, because who knows, maybe you might see that at Walmart tomorrow when you're Black Friday shopping and think, oh, Jack told me about that yesterday. How about I get it? So I'm going to be talking to you guys about the gear I use. Let's go. So obviously the most important thing when you're making videos is the camera. Well, not really. The most important thing is the story. I know Casey Neistat is always about story. I think gear matters a lot, but I think it's kind of like a 60-40 kind of thing. 60 being story, 40 being gear. This video is about gear, not about story. So we're going to be talking about the gear. So I use a Canon Rebel T5i, I believe. It's this camera that I'm using right now. Just in case you're wondering, this kind of setup right here, I'm going to be using this for a lot of videos. I decided I kind of like this kind of setup. In case you're wondering, this is just a black cloth I got from a fabric store. These are just Christmas lights, and I am recording at ISO of 40 and an f5.6, so I don't know if that's helpful at all. Not 40, ISO 400. I'm recording at 24 millimeters. I'm just using the kit lens. I actually just ordered a new lens yesterday. It's a 10 to 18 millimeter that I'm going to be using for vlogging, because right now with my 18 to 55 millimeter kit lens, I like that it has a wide zoom range, but the problem is a lot of times it's kind of up in my face like this, and also a lot of times my face is out of focus or the background is out of focus, like you see in a lot of my vlogs, just because it's not always like everything's always in focus. But with a wide angle lens like the 10 to 18 millimeter, that's never going to happen again. You know, everything's pretty much always in focus. It's hard to even get an unfocused background, and if something is going to be unfocused, it's going to be the background, not my face. So I'm really excited for that. But let's talk a little bit more about this camera. I have the T5i. I actually got a floor model, which is perfect. I always recommend you get a floor model or refurbished, because those are the two ways to get it cheap. Imagine going into the Apple store. You know all those phones that are sitting there? Imagine if Apple sold you those phones that have been used. You know, they've technically been used and they haven't been refurbished, so they would sell them to you for way less. I got this camera for $550, and it was actually supposed to be $700, so I got a really big deal, because I got it from this store called Apt, which is a store in Chicago. There's only one of them, so if you don't live in Chicago, you can't get it from there, but any electronics store really will do this. They just had this camera out as a floor model, and it wasn't damaged at all. Obviously, they pretty much owned it for me, so they wouldn't let it get damaged, and so I got it for $550. Great deal, and it works completely fine, as you see in all these videos. And what about sound? Well, obviously the built-in mics of these cameras are fine for this kind of setup. In fact, I actually have a mic plugged in right now. I'll unplug it. And obviously the sound really isn't that bad, because we're not in an environment with, you know, a lot of background noise, and nothing really sounds bad right now, so everything's pretty much fine. When you're vlogging, this kind of sound isn't going to work. If you're vlogging and you don't have a shotgun microphone and just using the one that's on the camera, it's just not good. It's not what it needs to be. So I use this. Let me unscrew this. This is a Rode Video Mic Go. I've been having a couple of problems with it, as you see in some of my shots. You can hear or something in the background of the videos. That happens like every so often. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but usually this is great. It's good because it doesn't require a battery, And I remember in my video when I unboxed this, I said it doesn't require a battery. What's so good about that? I don't really remember. People just said it was good. But I know now, it doesn't require a battery. What's nice is, well, it does drain the camera's battery. You also don't need to turn it on. So a lot of people sometimes turn on the camera but forget to turn on the mic, and then there's just no audio. So that's usually a problem. So it's really nice that this is just automatically going. It does run off your camera's battery, but I don't think it's not too bad. If you carry around a couple of spare batteries, you should be fine. I've been fine currently without the windscreen. A lot of people are saying, oh, you should get a windscreen, but I've been fine. I haven't really been hearing that woo sound, but I did actually hear it when I was vlogging with this camera without the mic, so I think it does help a lot with this mic. I don't know, I might end up getting a dead cat. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But I just spent a lot of money on a 10 to 18 millimeter lens, and so I don't have that much left. And so, for now, I'm just using this. Alright, next we're going to talk about how I actually vlog, what my vlogging setup is. I don't just hold the camera. I actually use this thing. This is a Joby GorillaPod SLR Zoom. I did a whole unboxing video with this and the mic. I'll link that in the description box below. I also did an unboxing video of this camera too, but I think it's better to watch the one with the GorillaPod mic because I pretty much told you everything about the camera. So my vlogging setup is this. It's perfect because it's not really all in your face. Imagine my vlogs were always like this. That'd be if I was just holding it. If I use this, it's not all in my face, and so it's kind of far away. Mirror lens. Okay, now after you've shot all this footage with this camera, with whatever you're doing, you gotta do something with it. You gotta edit it. So, this is the computer I use to edit my footage. This is a 2015 MacBook Pro 13-inch Retina display. No bumps up and anything. It's the base model, as base as it can be. I actually happen to be uploading a video right now. It's called Crazy Bowling Tricks. Yeah. Now you might be wondering, what actually software do I use? I used Final Cut Pro for a while. I used the trial version just because I couldn't afford the regular version. I guess I could, but I just didn't ever buy it. I'd rather have a $300 new lens or something, or $300 accessory than the $300 editing software, because you guys can barely even tell which editing software I'm using. If you watch my videos, you can't tell that I'm actually just using iMovie. Or maybe you can tell, but that's all I'm using. I used Final Cut Pro for like maybe 3 vlogs like a while ago, and I've been using iMovie ever since, and iMovie works totally fine for everything I need. I'm just a vlogger, I'm not doing advanced editing. iMovie's perfect, I use a lot of features a lot of people didn't even know you could use in iMovie, but I always like the reaction when people say, what do you edit with? And they expect me to say, Sony Vegas, or Premiere, or Adobe After Effects, or even Final Cut Pro, and I always say iMovie, and they say, what? iMovie? How do you get it to be so good? Because people think of iMovie as just that software that comes in your computer that you use to do home videos, but it actually can do a lot more than that. And it's more important to have actually good video than the editing software. If I'm using a fancy camera and a fancy drone and a fancy whatever, then it doesn't really matter what editing software you use. It does, but it doesn't have to be edited extremely well as long as the footage actually looks really good. Speaking of drones, though, let's talk about how I get my aerial footage. I used to use this old drone. It's called the SEMA X8C. It was basically just a toy drone. It sucked. I just put my GoPro on it. So I ended up upgrading to a DJI Phantom 3 Standard, which is what I use today. I would get it out, but you guys have seen it in videos. It also there's something I've been keeping from you guys. So you might have noticed in pretty much all my vlogs recently, there hasn't really been any drone footage. Keep flying it around, and I kept flying it around my whole backyard, and eventually it got to 1 or 2%, and I thought, okay, I should be done. I know if you get it down to 0%, it dies. It's done. You can't ever use it again, or at least the battery. So what I did was I brought it down. I put it in my room, but I didn't charge it immediately. I just let it sit there. And what it did is it got down to 0% while it was just sitting in my room, and it sat there for a couple of weeks. And so a couple of weeks later, when I wanted to use it, I tried to turn it on, and the drone battery did this weird thing where it would flash on, and flash off. So I called DJI's customer service. They're sending me a new one, but it's gonna be a couple of months because I had to send in that old one, and they have to send me a new one. I'm sorry. I love the drone, and I'm sorry that it hasn't been working out for it. You can get it for like $350 $350 or something, or I think you can get, or no, you can get it for $400 for Black Friday deals. It's usually $500. You can get it for $400 for Black Friday. It was originally $800. It's one of the best deals you can possibly get. So for Black Friday tomorrow, I really recommend you get it. And that's pretty much it. I mean, over time, I've developed, or I've made a lot of gear that I use. Like, for example, I have this slider that I made out of PVC pipe right over there. I haven't used it with my DSLR yet. I just use it with my phone. Speaking of which, I actually made a slider out of Legos for my phone. Yeah. Let's go to Thanksgiving dinner. I'm gonna interview you now, okay? Alright, Luke, how old are you again? Wait, 5?
Yeah, wait.
Wait, you're 5, right?
Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yeah, you're 5. Okay, perfect. And when's your birthday?
July 27th.
July 27th? Cool. And what do you think of being interviewed right now?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nah.
Is it fun?
Kind of.
Kind of. Do you remember what Thanksgiving is? Like, what is Thanksgiving?
No.
No?
I do not.
The Pilgrims, right? Did they never teach you about that in school?
No.
What foods do you eat?
Chicken?
Chicken? Do you eat anything else?
No.
No?
I said green beans.
Green beans. You like green beans, right?
Not really.
Not really?
That's what Matthew said.
Yeah. Is green beans the color of your shirt?
Yes.
Yeah, it's green, right?
What? No. Wait, what?
What do you have to say for yourself, Luke? Poop. That's fun.
Poop porn.
Poop porn?
I eat poop.
You eat poop?
And I eat it for lunch.
You eat poop for lunch?
Yes. And it's done with lettuce.
With lettuce?
Yeah. Tomato with sandwiches. And I eat jelly with poop.
Jelly with poop?
Yeah.
Does it taste good?
And pee with poop.
And pee with poop.